our man Eddie Gonzalez. Eddie was we thought you might be at the Garden, man. We thought you might be preparing for game 6.
Come on, man. Hey, man. Hop on the train, man. Hop on the train, baby.
Your boy
I mean, we going to 7th Avenue tonight, boy.
He got his gear on. I didn't even expect that, man. I went to game 1. Or excuse me, that was game 3. I went to game 3. I had a good time. Nice blowout. A lot of fun. I skipped game 4 at the last minute. And I'm really happy I didn't, because I don't know how I would have reacted in the arena and with all that going on with Tatum. And I'm happy he's feeling better now. I know he met up with the team today and all that stuff. But nah, not today. I think I'm gonna be at Barclays tomorrow for the tip-off WNBA.
Oh, there you go.
That's a real good.
Yeah, there you go.
That was heartbreaking to see, man.
Yeah,
that was.
We were watching it like for real, like leaving our KSFM show. We're like standing on the stairway of the building, leaving, watching this happen. Damn near in tears, like walking out the door, like, yo, not Tatum too. Like, you can't be serious. Yeah. Like, that was a weird one that seemed to just that was gutting, man.
Yeah, man. It was. I was on stream, which I kind of wish I wasn't, but I was streaming the game because I was excited. And mind you, he was on the way to 50 points. He was on the way to hopefully, tying the series up. And when it happened so fast, and it happened such a weird play. Like, I thought he turned his ankle, and you don't see the replay for another couple of minutes. And then as soon as you see the replay that there's no contact, you just like no instantly. Like, oh man. And I was the same way, man. I was emotional. I mean, it seemed like everybody was. Like, you're never expecting a major injury like that to any player, but a dude like that who, he just loved the game. He don't bother nobody, and he was going all out. It sucks to happen in that moment. I shot him a couple messages that was like, hey, keep your head up, all that good stuff. And one of them I had said, hey, I know you're effed up, but you'll get there. This is day by day. And when he finally hit me back, finally got back on his phone, first thing he said was, you know what? I am effed up. This one is no good, man. But he's cheering up. I think he's headed back home tonight. And the long road to recovery, but if anybody could do it, it's gonna be that guy.
You don't want to see that to happen to anybody, but I know people get their jokes off, and they talk about stealing catchphrases and all this other stuff. But you would know as good as anybody. He seemed like such a good guy, like a good man. You know what I mean? And like you said, all he ever does out there is go out there, play basketball. Try to play it at a high level, try to win, be a good teammate, all this other stuff. And in the midst of, I say, only the Milwaukee Game 6 a few years ago would probably be a better playoff game than what we were seeing at that time. In that Knicks game, he was having one of his great playoff performances of all time. Yeah. And to see him go down in a heap like that, like I said, it was heartbreaking because he seemed like just a good man. You know what I'm saying? For that to happen in that moment was tough.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been talking about his performances all year. We got really cool like the 22 season when they actually went to the finals. So that's when we kind of got cool and close, and always bouncing around talking about his performances and what he could do better. And when they're good, they're like, damn, that was crazy. And so the story of this series starting off was he just wasn't shooting it well. He just wasn't shooting it well. Obviously had the end of the game play game 2 where they converge on him and they get the steal out of his hand, and it's just like, man, I had texted him at that game, so you got to be better. He was like, yeah, you're right, like I have to be better. That's that, nothing else. And before game 3, the night before, because I knew they got in town a day early, I just hit him like, hey, what you on? Like, I'm outside, man, I'll pull up on you or something. And he sent me a pic. He's just in the gym, like he just wants to hoop and hoop well, you know what I mean? So we're having these conversations about, once the shots fall in, once you're in a rhythm, it's gonna be different. You're gonna go off, you're gonna this and this. And that was the game. That's what made it so like heartbreaking for me, is like knowing that this is kind of the game he was waiting to have. And he's knocking down these big threes, he's hitting these big shots. The jumper looks great. He finally looks on his rhythm. I know they're down 9 after that dunk. I know. And the Knicks probably win that game, but 3 minutes in the NBA game is a long time with 9 points. But the point is, it just felt like, okay, he's arrived now. Like he's over that rough patch. And now we're gonna see JT be the best player in this series and one of the best players in the world. And then like that. And it's just like it just sucks, man. But he's gonna take his time and hopefully at this age and he still got so much prime years left.
Mhm.
Hopefully we get right back to it after he gets healed up.
The game, I felt good about the Celtics. The Celtics are champions. I felt good about Game 5. I don't know how I feel tonight, though.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one tonight at the Garden? The one thing I know, the Garden gonna be crazy. We're gonna see Spike Lee every 7 seconds. We're gonna see, what's my Timothy Shallow? What's
So
Shallow.
I
that?
don't know who
Yeah.
that guy is.
Yeah, he's like
with
you
the
know
guy
he
with
is.
Kylie, right?
he's big time. He's big time actor.
Okay.
He's acting in the world right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Really?
he's the
Give me a
one.
movie.
What
Dune.
would you say? Dune?
Dune.
Yeah, that's what they was
Okay.
telling me to watch the
He
other
won
day.
Oscars for that.
Yeah,
Heard
He's the
Dune.
dude with he's the guy with Kylie.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And they're going to be celebrating like at tip off.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm not sold that the Celtics can't win.
No. Like this is the thing about this team. They're very much so a rhythm team. They're very much the make and miss league team. Like they are the team of that. So they could come out hot. They were up 20 points in the first 2 games in Boston. They were up big in game 4 as well. Like they've in many ways they've been the better team. They just haven't finished enough games. And they have that talent, they have the strategy that works. They just haven't been able to complete it each time. Now, I fully expected them to win game 5. That's an emotionally charged game, and fully expected them to go out with their biggest punch because they are champions. They won a championship last year, and it's still a full team, even without someone as important as JT. Now, the weight tonight is way different, and it's a lot to carry. But we've seen 3-1s before, and we know how this goes. You go back home, and this is New York City, and this is the Knicks, and this is the biggest game the Knicks have played in a quarter century. The pressure's on the Knicks because if they go home for game 7, this is a team that came down from 3-0 and went home for game 7. Tatum got hurt in that game as well against the Heat. But this is a team that's resilient. They've showed that over and over and over. They basically only played conference finals for the last 9 years. So if they go back home for game 7, let's say, just maybe, I wouldn't know, but let's say JT shows up. Just in the arena, just wants to be there. He's in the suite, wherever they put him. That's a tough game to win if you're the Knicks. So they have to get it done tonight. Hopefully Jalen Brunson isn't in foul trouble like he was in game 5. I don't think that's why they lost the game, but their shooting has to come around as a team. They need great performances from all their guys. But the Celtics ain't worried about nobody. They're not scared of nobody, and I'll guarantee you they still think they're the best team right now.
One of the things that I think about when people say the team that's up in game 6, trying to close out and not go to game 7, all the pressure's on them. I get it. I understand. But I would always say, being the team that's down 3-2, pressure's on me too, because my season could end.
Yeah.
Like, I could have a bad game and my season's over, as opposed to, they lose, they still got another opportunity. So I say that to say, I think there's pressure on both teams to get it done.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I've thought about with the Knicks, and this is no disrespect to the Celtics, because I do think they're a tough team, but part of the Knicks' strategy to a certain degree might be make sure you stay within striking distance, because if it's close late, we're tougher mentally, physically. We won't blink, and they'll start shooting threes, and then it becomes a make or miss type of situation with them. But I think they look at it as we get into them deep waters. It's crazy to say because the Celtics are champions and deserving champions, but the Knicks believe if we get in them deep waters, we'll be okay. We just got to make sure we stay within range.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's about Jalen Brunson too. Like
That's true
we
too.
can make the Clutch Player of the Year award whatever however prestigious we want it to be, but we've watched him time and time again in these playoffs, in the playoffs period, and in this series. If it's tight late, he's as dependable as they get. He's gonna find ways to score. He's gonna find ways to get shots, and he don't feel that pressure. He just shows up, he's getting buckets, and he's making it happen. So I think that's a big part of it as well. And at the end of the day, they know the other team don't got their best guy, and there's no mercy in this league. That's not how this league works. And so we salute to JT and we tip our hat and we wish him well. But hey, it happens. And Draymond just went on the podium and say, well, they're not gonna care that our guys are hurt, and we won titles when guys are hurt. Like, this is how it works. So yeah, the Knicks are feeling confident, but we've never seen the Garden like this. We've never seen the Garden like this. Not the modern Garden. Not this. And so I was there, Game 3. A lot of tense energy, a lot of happy fans for about 10 game minutes, and then it was just tension, and ain't no amount of Jenners or Bad Bunnies or Fat Joes or Spike Lee's could fix that. If they are down, and if the Celtics are looking hot, it's just gonna be tension in there all night. So I hope that's the game we get, though, because that's like the most entertaining version of these two games. And I just want not to be that person on Super Bowl Sunday, but I just want to see a good game, guys. I just want to see a good game.
What about Joe Budden? Will Joe Budden make a difference if he's there at the Garden?
Well, according to Fat Joe, he'll be in the Budden row, which is row 2 or 3.
Man, that's tough.
Haven't you met Budden before, haven't you?
Yeah. Interesting dude.
Yeah.
Very interesting guy. I'll put it like that. I mean, I think everybody's personality is like exponential when you're on camera. And so I'll say the Joe Budden I met was a little more calmer and less confrontational, but a very interesting dude for sure.
We were talking about Jalen there a second ago, Brunson. He's got a killer instinct.
Yeah.
Do the Knicks? Because I don't think the Knicks as a team do. It's my beef with the Timberwolves. I don't think the Timberwolves are killers. Like, I just don't think they have that killer instinct. But I know Jalen does. I just wonder if the rest of them guys out there do.
I watch them and I feel like they're buoyed by that, right? We've seen big fourth quarter plays by Mikal Bridges, but it's like I don't have to make the shot. Even in the last series, Karl-Anthony Towns made some big shots. That was one game, though. I think part of it is just availability. Like, for lack of a better term, Jalen's a bit of a ball hog, but it's also because that's the best option for them. But that's a motivated team, and that's what I like about them is they're tough. Like, not just because Josh Hart is bleeding the other night, but they play a physical brand of defense. They crash the boards. Like, they mean to be a physical team. And when Jalen, it seemed like all series, he hasn't really been doing too much foul baiting. He's a physical player himself, even at that small size. I look at the Celtics and go, man, where's the physicality with that team that plays 2 7-footers that, should be a bigger, more physical team? I see it that way. But are they dogs? I kind of agree with you on the Wolves. And it's interesting that everybody's so high on them right now because I'm definitely looking at whoever wins that game 7 on Sunday. Like, they might got them.
Yeah, I don't like Minnesota.
Well, here's the thing. We'll see it. I said this at the beginning of the playoffs when I was feeling good about the Wolves. They're crazy. That's what I always try to call them. I said they're crazy. But they'll look at the Thunder or the Nuggets. Like, oh, yeah, we got them. and believe it. And believe it. Like, oh, we got.
I think one of them do.
But they beat them both. I mean, they beat them. They beat one of them last year, and they didn't see the Thunder, but they should feel confident. They've scooted through the playoffs. They're healthy. They're motivated. They got Ant, but I just worry a little bit about the inconsistency of Ant. And I know everybody's riding high on him, and I love Ant like everybody else, but he didn't play great in the elimination game in round 1. He didn't exactly have the best elimination game against the Warriors either. It's up and down, but it's fine. It's worked out in their favor. They have a really great defense, but you're gonna need the best series of his career, I think, in the next round. Because you look at the defenders that both of those teams have on the wings, whether he's seeing Christian Brown, who's been incredible all playoffs, or he's seeing all of the wings that the Thunder throw at you and throw at your guys, it's gonna be tough on him. And they're gonna need the best version of him. This isn't the Lakers defense, which was probably the worst defense in the playoffs. This isn't the Warriors who don't have their best guy and just don't have the firepower to match up with you. This is two champions, basically. This is one champion and one championship level team in the Thunder and some of the best defenses in the league. All of their lack of shot creation that's not bothering them right now because it's fine. They're playing against Buddy Hield and they're playing against old Jimmy Butler. That's all going to hurt in the next series. That's why I think the other two teams, as long as they come out unscathed, yeah, they're going to be a little tired, but so will the Timberwolves. So I just favor them over them. The Wolves don't necessarily scare me just yet. Now, it could make me look stupid, put egg on my face, but I'm not all that concerned just yet.
I think the Wolves are going to the finals, but I'm going to use my man Eddie's line real quick. I'm like, here's it. Okay, see, they nice. The smell coming out of that locker room, no, Eddie. What's that smell, Eddie?
Man, that boy J-Dub.
I think he's talented, but this is 2 straight playoffs where he just kind of, you don't really know what you're getting from this guy. It's like, yeah, you just don't know.
3 of 16 with a chance to go to the conference finals is nasty. You miss a wide open 3 lay. You're not really giving them nothing. Yeah, miss layup in transition that almost made me put my TV over. You know, he's one of those players. I'm not a big fan. I haven't been a big fan. I know he has good court vision, but he feels like a product of this modern league where it's like if you have the ball enough and you have enough spacing, you can kind of do something. When he made the All-Star team over Kyrie, I about lost it. I one of the league offices out here in Secaucus, another one in Manhattan. I damn near went and knocked on the door. I needed to know more. But it's just like he's just not that level of player. And coming into the playoffs, everybody goes, all right, Shai's going to need his number 2. And he's had a few games. The game they lost in overtime in this series, Shai scoreless in overtime, and J-Dub had a great game. That's it. And when we need you most, this is what we get. I was shocked watching that performance last night. And I'm looking down the rest of the roster. Chet had a great game. That was a winnable game for them. I'm impressed by Shai, especially what he did in game 5. This is really, he's 27 years old. This is going to be 27 this summer. This is year 7. This is the time where he needs to start doing some of this stuff. So when he goes into that game, it's a tie series on the road at home and handles business. I'm like, okay, that's what you should do as a superstar. Game 6 was the complete opposite. I feel like they both let me down, and it's like, all right, what are y'all going to do? I'm trusting the Nuggets in game 7, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know what number 15 is going to pull up. I know if he gets a little help. You know what I said about game 5? He just didn't get his Lou Dort stretch from any of those guys. Shai got his Lou Dort stretch that kept him alive, and he was able to handle it later. Jokic didn't get that in game 5. In game 6, he did. Jamal had a great game. He had a great stretch from Christian Brown, and obviously Strawweather had a great stretch as well. Yo, y'all just help me a little bit. Give me a little bit. I can do the rest. I literally can put up 40, 20, and 20. I've done it. Come help me do the rest. I think them dudes know what they're looking at in game 7, and that's why I like them. And part of it is the guy you mentioned as well, and the smell coming out that locker room. J-Dub just has to be better, but I don't think he can.
Eddie, what if I told you KC came on the radio today and said, and I quote, Rudy Gobert has to save us from Victor Wembanyama. What if I told you?
Now, go ahead and finish.
That this man said Rudy Gobert is the only thing that can save us against Victor Wembanyama.
That's not what I said.
That's what we all heard.
In the sense of like, he got to poison the well somehow. What is he going to do?
So
is he going to be better?
Check this out, Eddie. Check this out.
I'm waiting.
He came in worked up over this, by the way.
He workshopped this at home.
Oh my God.
It came out 6 months ago, and I just finally finished. I always forget the name. Chase for the Gold, the Netflix show.
Oh, okay.
Gold, right. And you've probably seen the whole thing. And then, I'm watching the last episode, the championship game. And first, Wembanyama, they got him hugging his mom, and he's crying, right?
Yeah.
And I think about that. I think about how he felt in the All-Star game when his team lost. I was like, this dude, he don't mess around. Like he want to win everything, right? Like so that's the first thing that I was like, man, I remember that All-Star. He's tough. So then, they go on, they have Team USA and all this other stuff. And then like extra credits in a Marvel movie, the very last scene. Do you remember?
Yeah.
They all of a sudden, Wemby's talking and he's still crying. He's like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm working on it. But I feel sorry for everybody else out there. And then the reporter goes, what do you mean? NBA, Olympics? And he says, everybody. And then it cuts off. I said, oh my gosh. Oh, he's going to kill us all. He's going to kill the league. And I said, it's about to be scary. I don't know when he figures it out, but when he does, he's got the total package physically, obviously, but now mentally and emotionally, I see what he's got. And I said, you're going to need a Rudy. You're going to need a Chet Holmgren. You're going to need a 6'10" ain't going to get it done.
He's cushioning it now, but he was like, he doesn't want Anthony Edwards to lose Rudy Gobert.
I don't. Look, 6'10" ain't going to get it done. It's not going to get it done. You need a 7 foot at least to even have a chance with this guy. This guy's about to be a maniac.
Yeah, look, there's little parts of his game. If he figures them out, it's a wrap. There's nothing we can do. We're all getting ready to hand the baton over to Victor Wembanyama. I'm sure of it. And our last hope is he's like too tall. And what I mean by too tall is, if y'all have seen him in person, it's really hard for him to get in traffic and drive. It's really hard for him to create shots when he has to throw the ball 6 feet down from the air and people can get under it. Besides that, it's a wrap. His floor to start in this league was Rudy Gobert, who scores 20. Well, now he's already Rudy Gobert with a 3-point shot, who scores more than 20. If he becomes better Rudy Gobert, who scores 30, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where we have to find, we need reinforcements. So I'm not sure how Rudy is going to stop him other than sabotage, which I'm all for. I'm a little bit like Kevin seems to be. Like, I have a real disdain for this French national team, and I'm sick of them. But I mean, that dude's impressive, and obviously hitting in the lottery one more time helps. I've asked a little bit about the Giannis noise. I wouldn't pay too much mind to that. Just because it works in the trade machine, guys, doesn't mean these teams want to do that or these players want to do it. Wink, wink. But they're situated now, whether they pick Ace Bailey, whether they pick Dylan Harper, they've got a core, and they're going to go. Like, I'm kind of happy they're not getting Coop, but I like Ace Bailey more. So I kind of like Dylan Harper more. So if they put that together and go from there, there's no stopping that dude. Hopefully everything's right with his health. But I'm with you. Like, we should be a little scared.
And his mind is right. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, he's a super villain, man. And I done looked around. We don't got a 7'5" kid bouncing around the Bay or the South. Or
New York. That boy in Florida. What's the white guy in Florida? Was he like 7'6"? He couldn't play this year though, but
yeah, he's like 7'7". Yeah, no, that's not gonna help us. That's not gonna do us no good. So Kevin has spoken about it publicly. It's like the utmost respect from him. I think they have a little bit higher standard than us because they want to see them do superstar stuff before they just start anointing them. But every guy I've talked to in the league is like, yeah, he gonna be a problem. He gonna be a problem.
How many
take my coins off now before he starts taking them.
How many texts did you get Monday night saying the league is rigged?
I know we're talking to the Sacramento Kings here, but I don't buy it. They're not rigging the league so the San Antonio Spurs can just be monsters. That does not benefit them. The worst rated finals of all time was the Spurs and the Pistons. They don't want this again. I'm all for
them Spurs didn't have Wemby though.
I'm all for the new lottery rules. I don't think teams should be rewarded for losing. And people say, oh, they're not losing on purpose. Yeah, but they're bad. You don't reward. This is a competitive multi-billion-dollar league. We don't reward you because you're bad. Be better, and then it will be more plentiful for you. And my retort to all of the chatter is, look at what we're watching right now. We're about to watch the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder playing in Game 7 with the 2 MVP finalists, the 2 favorites. We still don't know who it is because they're so good. It could be either one of them. They got one of them dudes in the second round. That other dude, I think he was 12th, and they traded for him. So, like, there are multiple pathways to put your franchise together. Jamal Murray was like middle of the first round. They went traded for Aaron Gordon. Christian Brown was late first round, and they found him and made him better. Russell Westbrook is a free agent signing. Like, there are ways to make great teams. We're looking at the Indiana Pacers, same way. Like, the Cleveland Cavaliers is number 1 record in the East. Same thing. They traded for their superstar. They drafted some of the other dudes. They traded for Jared Allen. If you're aggressive and if you know what you're doing, there are good players out there that can be had every year, and you got to go get them. And the Knicks are another example. The Knicks ain't built off 5 superstars choosing them and saying we're going to be the best team ever because it's New York. No, they drafted some of these dudes. They traded for a bunch of these dudes, and they got Jalen Brunson because they had the foresight to sign Leon Rose to be their president. And the funny part is, Plan A was Zion. Plan like C was Jalen Brunson, but they knew what he was there. And even Jalen Brunson's a second rounder. So look, you don't have to go number 1 and number 2 and number 3 every year in the lottery to be a better team. Utah can just be better. They can just be smarter at what they're doing. Charlotte can be smarter at what they're doing.
Even with the Knicks
situation, what they're doing.
Even with the Knicks situation with Jalen Brunson, they signed him. They gave him the money. They thought he was going to be good. Nobody thought he'd be this. Like, king of New York, king of maybe the best Knick ever when it's all said and done. They're like, no, he's really good. And he's exceeded those expectations as well.
There's one dude in that building who thought so. Maybe 2. Rick Brunson and then but that's about it. They knew he was a dude, but Dallas let him walk. Dallas could have had him for this well-known story. Dallas could have had him for a discount. They said, yo, we're good. We're good here. So again, there's ways to build your team. I'm not boo-hooing for some of these bad teams. Be better. And what we got, I think is a better result for the league. We got 3 teams on the cusp in different ways in Dallas, in San Antonio, and Philly. And now they're gonna be better. And they deserve to be better. They all took shots and were aggressive in different ways, and they lost in different ways. And those are the breaks. It just is what it is. What I'm curious about is if any of those teams want to get off that pick. And I'm looking at Philly like, Paul George in the pick looks great for just about anything right now. And he makes a lot of money. What does that turn into? But anyway, the point is, I don't think the league's rigged, and I actually like these lottery rules we got now.
Oh, I love the lottery system, man. It's on point. And I love our Fridays with you, Eddie. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the game this weekend. We appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Sorry I was late, fellas.
No, we good. We good.
I'll be back at you on this week.
We good, baby.
Hey, man, game 7. I need 2 game 7s. I'm ready for that.
We got 1. That's all we need. Let's go. Go New York. Go New York. Go.
All right, brothers.